Welcome, Nimbu.
Boy, do I have something exciting to show you.
What do you have there?
I was working in my barn, and this metal cylinder fell off the rafter. Inside is a scroll with some strange writing on it that I never saw before. Look at it enough, I can somehow understand what it says.
Let me see. Ah, Nimbu. I've seen something like this before. I can't quite remember. Maybe 2200 or the year 2300. The Conscious Circle of Humanity had a universal device that allowed the person with sufficient intent and consciousness to when they attempted to read it, signals are generated to the brain and then transmitted to the cosmos. And the meaning is transmitted back to the person's brain.
Really? Well, what does it say?
Let me see. Yes, Nimbu, I think we should do that. Let's take one of our time voyages and see what we can find out.
How exciting. Let's go.
If you may be wondering, dear observers, how Rohani and Nimbu travel through space and time, you may know that Rohani has developed his powers such that time and space and size are no barriers to his consciousness, and he often takes his grandson Nimbu along.
It looks like it tells about the evolution of the universe, starting a very long time ago from the beginning.
Wow, I've always been interested in evolution. Let's go and witness that.
It says here that the entire universe was contained in a small, pulsating, spherical volume.
How could the whole universe be in a tiny little volume?
Because, my dear Nimbu, the only things really existing in the universe are forces, fields, and energies, which are not material solid and do not occupy volume. It says here, of the different forces in nature, usually three are engaged in a kind of dance, with one being dominant. Let me see what else it says. It says, in the dance of forces, at first, the dominant force was gravity. Then the nuclear force became the dominant force. Then the pulsating sphere released everything and spread out in a huge burst of light and spewing out huge amounts of hydrogen and some other stuff. Then there was no more light and a dark age began.
Gee, the Earth had a dark age of over 500 years.
Yes, Nimbu, but this dark age of the universe has lasted hundreds of millions of years. Let's go back to the beginning.
With the hydrogen spread out into space, you'd think though that evolution would stop after that.
Well, it says here, the forces of nature danced around, and again, the gravity force became dominant. There were regions of space where there was a bit more hydrogen here and there, and gravity pulled more and more hydrogens together into large clumps. This went on for several billion years. Then, the second miraculous shock point of evolution began.
What was that?
Well, it says in the scroll here, when huge chunks of hydrogen got pulled together, the nuclear force again became primary. Hydrogen began to burn and give off light in billions of places in space.
Let's go and witness that. Wow, a universe of starry nights. The Dark Ages finally came to an end. Some of the star furnaces burned for billions of years and then exploded and spread ashes out into space. Some star ashes contained hydrogen that fused and formed higher elements, like all this good stuff: carbon, oxygen, iron, uranium, gold. It says the star ashes flew out into space. After 1 billion years, it began to be pulled by gravity into large, huge clumps, into then it says that the third shock point of the evolution of the universe began.
What was that shock point, Nimbu?
The electromagnetic force then became dominant. The new paradigm was chemistry. Water, alcohol, hydrocarbons, oxide joined up in millions of ways. It formed a chemical soup. The soup stirred around for a couple of billion years until the fourth shock point. You know what it was? Life. As life evolved, there were unimaginable life forms that came to be. Plants, animals, and quite a variety of alien forms. Let's go and witness that.
Nimbu, the new force of life, manifested more and more life forms until another huge shock point occurred.
Gee, what was that?
It says here, the shock of the human brain evolving out of the life force with the subtle influence of other forces. Billions of human life forms appeared in the universe, differing not so much in physical form, but highly variable in psyche.
Let's go and witness that.
That octave of human evolution seems to me quite chaotic. I could wonder if it's actually moving to a higher level. I see there reciprocal maintenance, but quite a bit of reciprocal destruction. I must see what Rohani thinks about this human evolution.
Now, what's going on in the evolution? How do you explain this?
Nimbu, I suspect it is something like our old discussion of the thermodynamics of life. When the energy at a very high level is created, some amount of coarse, low-level energy must also be produced. That same might work with spirit as well. Let's read from the scroll. It says here, as we suspected, it says that human effort and work developed the human spirit to higher, finer forms, that which was the next conscious shock of humanity, the spirit.
Let's go and witness that.
This is his first evolution, the result of millions of experiments. But he is capable of a further evolution, an individual evolution.
If only you knew what the potentials in your being are.
There are great ideas undiscovered.
Through areas of our own spiritual maturation, we mature through, think of it as stages of power, and those
there is nothing you cannot do.
There's a creative force beyond us.
That there's something that's missing in life and they want it.
Our old way of looking at consciousness, confining it to the brain and the cranium, which is stuck in the present and in the body, just won't do it.
You and I are the purpose of life on earth.
Instinctive love, a seedling of life. And with that, we'll close this part of the meeting tonight. I would like to meet you in the kitchen to entertain you for a very little party.
That spirit of evolution was so fascinating. I must find out what happens next. Let me see what the scroll says. I can't read the scroll anymore, Rohani.
Nimbu, I'm afraid that we have depleted the time-space continuum energy from all of this excitement.
Well, put the scroll and cylinder away in a safe place till tomorrow.
Okay, let's do that. And we'll put it back up on the fireplace mantle.
Put it in a safe place.
And as you know, Nimbu, the conscious circle of humanity may have their own particular need for this cylinder. It may be needed someplace else in the universe in the time-space continuum. Nimbu, it's time for us to go and once again become P-Jack and Markowitz.
Well, let's go.
Let's go.